Yeah, so this is our first podcast, Cooper Life Podcast. Thank you for checking us out. We're here with our Chas Rodgers business development stud out of our San Diego market. And like I said, this is our first podcast, so I hope your expectations aren't unrealistic. Make sure they're lower. So, yeah, like I said, Chas is our business development guy, San Diego market, and he's already kind of told us a little bit about his background, but keep going. What else?
So when I got started in fitness, I was in the Navy at the time, but prior to that, I was an athlete from, grade school, middle school, high school. My primary sport was track and field, and I played basketball.
Did you run?
I ran middle distance and sprint. So I was, 200, 400 guy. I had good power, but not the overall top speed to run 100 and 200, especially when I got to high school, because back when I was in high school, the football players ran all the power sprints.
Yeah.
So I got relegated to middle distance, 400 meter, 800 meter, and long jump.
Yeah. What was your best there?
You know what? Honestly, I got pretty decent at the 400.
You did?
Yeah, I got decent at the 400, and I learned to like.
Is that 2 laps?
No, 400 is just 1 lap.
That's
one power lap. And
that's gnarly. That's like.
And if you can run a sub 60 second lap, you're in good company.
Wow.
I was able to do that fairly consistently. But it's a big strategy, because basically it's 4 100 meter.
I know, so you're not 100% the whole way. I mean, it is 100%. I know, it is 100% the whole way, but it's not 100% as the 100% would be if you were running a 50.
So
right?
my track and field hero, still to this day, is a gentleman named Edwin Moses. And Edwin Moses was hailed from Ohio, and I believe specifically he was from the Dayton area where I grew up and went to high school. And so I kind of modeled my track and field, career after what he had done. He was probably I think he's still one of the only guys, I think he still holds the record, who went undefeated in the, it was the 110 hurdles or something like that. Like, he almost was never beaten. He just had a drive. And from what I remember now, he works for Laureate Sports, and he's been an ambassador for track and field for a very long time. But he was kind of a track and field hero of mine, from the city of Dayton. The stadium that I ran a lot of my track meets in, where I went to high school, is actually Edwin C. Moses Stadium. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Very nostalgic. But what was cool about that was I always had coaches that worked on technique with me constantly. My middle distance coach and my sprint coach and my jump coach were all about the technique. He said the success from the technique will get you a victory. Bad technique will definitely have you lose.
Skills.
So they just hammered skill set. And then from that, whatever we did.
Then you can pack on power and muscle and all that, right?
Yeah,
you
can, but back then it was different.
You need the skills first.
So back then it was different. Back then it was like putting the work in, the workload in. So the specific schedule, the paradigm, right?
It's still like that. Dude, Newport Harbor water polo players, or Newport Harbor swim, like they're just thousands and thousands and 6,000-7,000 yards.
The periodization model, before I even knew what periodization was, before I went to school for personal training or any of that, really came down to what these coaches used to share with us back in my little Catholic high school in Dayton, Ohio, which is still a pretty decent powerhouse still to this day.
Yeah.
Was you put the work in, you build the foundation, and then from that foundation, all the success that you want to get from the specific event that you're running or competing in, you get. So for me, I was a skinny little kid.
Yeah.
I think I got to 150 pounds soaking wet. Even by the time I was a sophomore in high school, I was never a big kid. But what I did have for me genetically was I was extremely explosive. So I was able to grab the basketball run by the time I was in 4th or 5th grade. Yeah. Don't know how I got that. I'm not sure where it came from. I just know I could do it. And it was I think it was from watching others do it and saying, I want to be able to do that. Because it was like a big deal.
And mom and dad giving you the genetics?
My father was an extremely good athlete. He was one of the top high school football players in the state of Georgia in his day. He skipped over college and went straight to the semi-pros and played for a couple practice squads in the NFL when I was a kid. So he was that good. It's not unheard of for a non-collegiate athlete to make it in the NFL, but the track is much harder.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a really good running back, really good, out of Columbus, Georgia. So some of my genetics came from that. I have some cousins that have been professional athletes at the highest level, NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. I've got some others that played, college sports and all that, especially my father's side of the family. So it's in the genes. It's in the genes. So when I got into fitness, it was kind of it was like a fluke, an accident, or it just kept pulling me that way.
So there wasn't a time in your life where you're like, I want to get into fitness. It just kind of, the doors and paths just kind of led that way.
That's a great question. I'll tell you what happened. I had a buddy of mine back home in Dayton. There was a club. They used to call them health clubs back then.
Yeah.
In the 80s. There was a health club that he was teaching aerobics in. Aerobics, because that was it. And I'll never forget it because this guy would go into the classroom. I was there working out on all the fixed machines right back then, right? The knowledge machines they call them. And we're working out, and he's teaching this class, and all these people are there having a good time, having fun, and most of them were ladies. I'm like, all right, this is cool. And I'm like, I think I'm 17 or 18 years old at the time. And I wanted a place to go work out, and in between my training sessions. So I go in, he's doing the class, and I'm kind of hanging out in the back, and I'm watching this going, this looks like fun. Fast forward to my time in the Navy. There was another buddy of mine who was teaching aerobics. Now, fitness had kind of evolved a little bit. It wasn't just jazzercise, it wasn't just high impact, low impact aerobics. But he was teaching a class at this place doesn't exist anymore, at the Naval Station, Barbers Point. Same deal. So we're on dry dock leave, we're on break, and I'm going to work out. And I get in there, he's teaching the class. He says, come on in, I kind of hang out, join the class, but I still don't want to do anything teaching wise. I'm just hanging out. He says, you're really good at this. It's really good at what I'm just working. I said, no. You're really good.
Yeah.
I said, he said, I think you should come co-teach with me. I'm like, okay. Right.
It's that voice.
I don't know what it was. I just know it was a lot of fun. So I'm like, all right, cool, I got time. So the Gold's Gym experience was interesting because I had one foot still with the Navy and one foot in the civilian world.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it started. So in 1992, our commander-in-chief was President Clinton, and he did this big rollout. They wanted to reduce the forces all across, the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, I even think the Coast Guard, everybody, they were reducing our force, all of us. And we got offers. I just finished a tour in Louisiana for about 6 months, and I had a decision to make. Do I stay for 4 more years, which would be a total of 8 active? Now I gotta stay 20 to get retirement, because that's kind of how it works, that's how the military might think.
Yeah.
Or do I pursue a career outside the military, and do I have prospects? And one of the prospects obviously was fitness.
Yeah.
And so I just went for it. I made a choice. I said, yep, I'm gonna do it. I got an honorable discharge. I already had a full-time job with NWR, and I also was coaching for Gold's Gym at the time. I opened up one of their most awesome facilities on Kalakaua Avenue. I'll never forget it, because it was literally right across from the beach.
Yeah.
We shot the original commercials for Gold's Gym, Honolulu. This was Gold's Gym 2, this was their second location. It's an awesome experience. It was a smaller kind of boutique studio kind of gym. And I started really diving into more, not just teaching classes, but personal training. Now back then, if you remember, personal training was taught by who? The big bodybuilder guys.
Yeah.
Those are the guys.
Yeah.
They ran the industry. They built it out, and most of the time they were just kind of partner training with the guys they were already working out with. But Gold's had a program called Nutrition Analysis, and it was the #1 nutrition and fitness program combined in the industry that I'm aware of, other than probably some corporate fitness stuff. So started learning that. Had a guy who was a mentor of mine early in my career, a guy named Dick Ching, who actually was a former Mr. Polynesian or something like that, bodybuilder, who had started a clothing line. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember these clothes back in the old days, T. Michael, Hard Body, all these different, it was all this fitness clothing. So he had a shop inside of Gold's Gym, and I went to work for him as one of his sales guys.
Yeah.
It's like one of my first official sales gigs in fitness, and I got like a 2.5% commission. It was nothing, right? But what I got from that was this. He had written a book about how to make about $50,000 a year as a personal trainer, not as an attorney, not as a doctor, as a personal trainer. I was like, what? Are you serious? He says,
dude, you got in this game like in the
beginning,
at the very
at
beginning.
its infancy. And so I was like, okay. So I took him at his word, and I studied like a madman for this. I left college after my second year. I was studying business in college. So I figured, well, if I can create this business, cool. So he mentored me. He coached me. I learned everything about the game. I learned everything about how to train people. And again, this was before people really got into like anatomy and kinesiology and all that. It was just all about the movement, right? And I learned that stuff. And with my fitness background from track and field and basketball, and with my aerobic teaching background, I combined those two disciplines with this personal training thing. Now, I didn't really get into it until I left Hawaii, but I was learning it at the time. So the private training thing, the one-on-one thing.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to California, I had a full-time offer in hospitality fitness from Hilton Hotels. And the reason I got the job offer is because I'm just hanging out one day and I'm looking for, this is a great story. The hotel that I was supposed to stay in didn't have my room ready. And I had a training session because I was very disciplined. I had a training session at like 3 or 4 o'clock that I had to do for myself that my coach had given me. And this is before cell phones, right? So he wrote my schedule down, and I was just following it like, Okay, so they say, well, I think the hotel across the street might have a room for you, because they're not as busy. This is Anaheim, this is in Anaheim. All right, fine. So I walk over there. At the time, the lady I was dating, she was with me. We go over there, we check in, they give us a room. And I said, okay, so I need a fitness center or something, or health club nearby. And he says, oh, well, we have one downstairs. So, what? Because back then, we're talking, this is 92, 93.
90s, right.
They didn't exist, right? Okay, so I go down there, and I thought I walked into heaven. I kid you not. I thought I walked into heaven. I walked in there and lay at the front. Hi, how are you? It's like, there's a front desk. And now remember, I just left Gold's Gym Hawaii, which was like the largest, fitness center as far as I know on the West Coast. Yeah. This place was pretty nice in a hotel. Yeah. Cool. So I go there, they got an indoor pool. Yeah. They've got an aerobics room in the front. Yeah. And they've got a full aerobics room in the back. And they've got, all the weights and everything. This is crazy. Yeah. So the director's there. I'm working out in the room. I'm going through my routine. I'm training. I'm working hard, and I'm being watched. I don't know this. And the director saw me and kept asking like the staff, "Who's that?" Yeah. We don't know. He's a guest here in the hotel. So she approaches me. I'm about 3 days from leaving. I've got to go to somewhere in San Diego to compete actually for a qualifier. Yeah. I win the qualifier, which was huge, which qualified me for nationals. Yeah. And I'm about to head back. Yeah. And she said, well, if you stay a few days, I'd like to offer you a job. This lady did not know me. She just saw me working out. Based on your training and your energy and your voice. That was it. I'm sure your voice said something. I don't know. So that's what happened. So I'm very grateful. And so you took it? To this day. Of course I took the offer. Yeah. But here's the flip side of that. 92. This was about 92, 93, yes. Wow. Yeah. So I take the offer and I get all my affairs in order, as they say. Back in Hawaii, I tell all my people I'm leaving, they're sad, everything like that. And I get to California to test it. Yeah. Find an apartment, the whole deal. And guess what? They delayed my offer for about 6 months. So I did not have the job yet. And I had you had moved. After I had moved, so I had to scramble. And so a lot of my experience, and I'm grateful for that in some way, because I think had I just gone in and started working, that might have been my only path. Yeah. So it gave me an opportunity to go out and really start
hustling,
looking for jobs.
You probably grew
I had to go look for jobs. I really did. I had to go look for work. And I've worked with racquetball worlds back in the day. I've worked at Los Caballeros here in Orange County. Back in the day, it was one of the first big multi-tennis clubs, swimming. They had it all, right? Racquetball, squash, all of it.
Yeah.
But in so doing that, I found the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Okay. And back when the National Academy of Sports Medicine was around, they had a full, I think, immersion of 6 or 7 days straight of nothing but training on how to be a personal trainer. Not how to become a personal trainer, but how to be a tactician on the gym floor, programming, anatomy, kinesiology, every single piece of equipment that was on the gym floor could be on the gym floor. They taught us how to use it, how to work it, how to work around it, how to make modifications, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was huge for me. Huge. It changed my career because what it showed me was, okay, so now I've got this teaching experience, I've got this military background, and now I've got this platform. And from that allowed me to really build my confidence where I can say, okay, now I can become a trainer. And then Los Caballeros gave me, I think that was my first actual real personal training job. Yeah. Was with them in 1994.
And did you ever get hired? Did that 6 months?
So you ready for this? This is going to be good. So now it's about 9 months into my start with Los Caballeros. I'm teaching all over the place. Word's getting out.
And then Hilton calls you.
That I'm one of the top instructors in Orange County at the time. And they reached back out to me. They offered me a full-time job. I became the assistant. I became the lead personal trainer for Hilton Hotels. It was awesome. And this was their Anaheim property, so this was a big property. And every time I go back, I was just there not too long ago, it brings back a nice nostalgic memory about the opportunity that was offered to me. The director had been there, she just retired, she'd been there 30 years. So they saw me grow through that. So it was good. So that's how I kind of got into it. It just, fitness became something by accident that I fell into, and it's part of who I am. Yeah. There's no other way.
So 92. Yeah. It's 2019. Fitness. We hooked up 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
Almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah. And I just threw real estate in your lap.
You did.
Right?
You did.
Let's marry fitness and real estate and technology. So how is the real estate industry and that culture, how is it different than the fitness industry?
So the one thing I've learned from two people, yourself and then another one of we consider him a mentor. You've actually met him. Gentleman named, last name is Carter. This guy's been doing it for a very long time. He actually had been a personal training client of mine back in the day, and just a really smart guy. He literally said, our industry is based on a myriad of different factors, which I was unaware of when I got into the real estate side of this. I came at it from the fitness business entrepreneurial side, which was great, but that's not enough in the industry when you're dealing with property management and ownership. Now, I've worked with some high net worth individuals, but they were single individuals who made the decisions. And what I've found in our industry, in real estate, especially when it comes to the social fitness, you don't always get to the decider. You may work 2 or 3 tiers below that, and then you'll get to the decider. So that's something I've
Or you may never.
Or you may never get to the decider. Exactly.
Right? Or you may never.
Right. So that I'm learning. I've been fortunate enough because I've kind of been my own guide when it comes to how my business has grown off and on over the years through my kids' fitness programming. But this is a different animal. Yeah. It's the learning curve is steep, but I think I'm catching up. But there's also parts of it that I realize that there are outside interests, not just the singular interest of the person that we're sitting in front of at the time in these meetings, but there are outside interests that we learned in one of our big meetings, as you recall, that we're not aware of until we're told. And so I went in, sometimes I've gone to some of these meetings, some of these prospects we use in real estate and go, oh, we're gonna get this deal, you know me. And then find out, we're gonna get it, but not quite, or not so, as the Lee Corso, ESPN football And I just love this guy. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
And my problem is because I was a track athlete, speed wins.
Yeah.
But slow and steady in this game wins the race is what I'm learning.
Totally. Long sales cycles, diligence, persistence.
Absolutely. So I think the difference, I like the fact that there's tech.
Yeah.
So the app and the communication in the back of the house and the front. Yeah. I think the appeal of fitness as a way to build a relationship or rapport with management and with ownership, especially for the people they serve, because at the end of the day, they're serving the residents, but they also serve themselves. It's a money-making industry. They need to make a profit.
Income producing.
It has to be income producing, and if it's not, additional things that don't technically create that, they have no interest in. Now, if it creates it right out of the gate, and we can keep their costs relatively manageable in their eyes, and that's something else I'm learning, has to be in their eyes, can't be from our side.
Right.
It works. It's sort of, I relate it to the personal training client who says, well, I only really want to work out for a couple of weeks. You got to turn them down.
Right.
You can't get anything done in a couple of weeks. You can start a process, but that's really just a conversation. So I've learned that. So I like the fact that it is challenging, but also I feel like we make a difference as a service because once management and ownership really sees exactly what they say they want, and we find a way for that to work for them as an amenity and a service to them, and they start going, okay, this makes sense. People are excited about this, and that I forgot what the exact percentage is, the leases that they lose every year. Some of those people, let's say if it's 30% loss every year, 15% of those people are not going to leave because they really enjoy where they're living because they're getting these services. And it's sort of like fitness. I mean, what is it about attrition and retention? If I can retain a fitness member in my facility, what does that retention look like for them? It's basically the same. Right. But in this, I think it's one factor. It's not the only factor. That's what I'm learning about real estate. Yeah. There's many other factors. Like if the AC units go out, right, your amenity's out the door. Yeah. It's great, we love you, but hey, look, I got to fix these ACs in 50 units. Yeah. So that's part of what I'm learning and having to really digest is as passionate as we can be about what we're offering. Yeah. The decision maker, it's not even about passion for them. It's about the bottom line. Yeah. Honestly, it's really about that bottom line, as much as they think it could work for them. So that's kind of what I've learned so far.
Yeah. I know, I'm still waiting for the owner or the group of owners that are like visionaries, that just want, that they're like, this is going to be expensive, but I don't care because no one is doing it, and we are going to do this bigger and better than the people that when they start doing it, they're still going to be light years behind.
They're going to be behind.
But
I haven't found them yet.
So what do you wish you had known about the industry when you started out? The Cooper Life, or where Cooper Life fits into real estate?
Well, two things. The first thing, it's I was thinking about that, upon reflection a couple weeks back. So I think there's two things. The first thing for me as a novice in this industry is under promise.
Under promise.
Under promise, because there are other factors, even in the face-to-face meetings that we are, at least for me, I was completely unaware of. Yeah. That could derail what I used to think back in the old days, and I worked for myself completely. If I was closing a deal, I knew the deal was closed. Yeah. And what I've learned in this game is the deal is not always closed. Yeah. The deal could be taken from you in 6 hours. Yeah. Prior to signing, it could, because something else could happen the night before. Right. That's something.
And even when it's papered.
Sure.
Like. Yeah. A 30-day out.
Right.
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 I haven't found an owner that would paper a deal without a 30-day out.
Right.
And I understand the perspective. Like
course.
we signed a contract for a year. Well, if we stop servicing them, like they need an out, right? If we're not delivering what.
Yeah, and that's something that I've had to get used to.
Yeah.
As far as it goes back to the conversation we had a couple months back. Both of us, I'm sure, I've been hired and fired a lot.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. Listen, man, attorneys get hired and fired all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they see it that way. I think they see it as this is a client, this is the duration of the term,
Yes.
and when it's over, it's over. But if we can't meet the need or the case doesn't go their way,
Yeah.
the client has to move on, and you as a provider, service provider, has to move on.
Yeah.
So that's something you get the stomach for and you figure it out.
I love that you can just like candidly say I've been hired and fired a lot.
Yeah, because it's true.
I know. But people don't just say I've been fired a lot, right? Like people just
You can sugarcoat it. I've been terminated. I've been dismissed.
I know. But like
it didn't work out.
I think it's so important to take responsibility, be honest and upfront. And yeah, I've been fired a lot, and I know you. I've worked with you long enough to know when things don't necessarily go your way or our way.
Right.
Like you're the first to what happened? How do we do
How
better?
do we do better?
How
do we do better? Because
Yeah.
as a personal trainer, I went through this experience a lot. I'd signed some big deals, and if you remember, if you go back to in this very town in Orange County, if you go back to 06, 07, that was not a good time frame for us, especially in the service industry. A lot of us lost a lot of our market share when that big economic downturn happened, and it hurt a lot of service providers, a lot of my service provider friends in physical therapy, in chiropractic, in fitness training,
And especially personal training. That is a luxury.
There's a
everybody's
luxury.
going to cut the luxury.
You're done.
Yeah.
And so
Landscaper cut.
done.
Personal trainer.
I'll cut my own grass.
cut. Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by that when I say to people, that I've been hired and I've been fired a lot, is because in our game, that's the nature of the beast. And sometimes you can internalize that stuff. Sometimes you just have to brush it off and keep moving.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not that that you don't have the sensitivity to it that one would have from feeling like you disappointed someone in some respects. Because sometimes that's what it feels like. But that's business.
Mm-hmm. That's business.
That's business. When a customer stops going to a store or restaurant after they've been going there for 5, sometimes 10 years, it's not that the food doesn't taste the same. It's that things change. Their palate changes. Something happened. Can't afford it.
Yeah.
So that's something I learned in that. The second thing I think that I've gained from these experiences have been that we can do our best once we're inside, and you said this not too long ago, provide the service and then be a ghost. If they don't have to think about it, that means we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
If they feel like that they have to put more into it than what we offered, then we might have a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think in multifamily, that's something I'm learning.
Yeah.
The easiest way for us, I think, to be successful is to be exactly what they need without them even knowing it. Once the deal is signed, we just do our thing, and we are ghosts. And if there's an issue,
People show up to our classes.
people show up, they
People
have
show up to our events,
and that's it.
And management gets the emails.
Yep, that's
And
it.
they don't have to do it. I mean, they're managing the property. They don't
That's
need
it.
anything else.
This is not something we don't need to make their work. We don't need to hand them a shovel and say, hey, we need a little help with this.
Right.
They don't want a shovel.
No.
They don't even want a rake.
No. They don't want a whistle.
Nothing.
They don't even want a microphone to delegate.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Right. So that was the second point I picked up from the last few contracts that we had. So I think, and I've learned, and it's good.
It's great.
And I think it's a good lesson, and it's also we're the future as far as amenity services go. We know it. I think that some of these owners that we've spoken with, the management groups, they know it. They have to figure out, how to pencil it, where it truly makes good sense for them.
Yeah.
Not just about what they give the residents, because they give the residents a lot. I'm sure if they have speedy service calls and everything like that, that's an added benefit to the actual resident. But if they could see value in the social fitness aspect and the social event aspect, and people really enjoy where they live and they talk about it for however they are. One of our properties, to wrap this point up, is, out in San Diego in our market, this last 90 days, I've seen a complete transition of residents. We're getting a lot of new faces in our group X classes now, a ton of new faces. And a lot of the other people are gone. They've moved out, moved away, bought a home, or the lease was up and decided to go elsewhere. So we're getting a lot of new people. So that's huge. We've had no drop off actually in the numbers. It's actually increased. Yeah. But it's a whole different crop of residents now that are coming and enjoying the experiences. So
interesting. So is there anything in multifamily that you're curious about? Is there anything in real estate that you're curious about?
Yeah, I want to, that's a great question. I want to learn, I think, in fitness, man, I know everyone. I mean, I've been doing it so long. Yeah. I've been in it 30 years. And so when you're at the trade show, I think the last trade show you and I went to, at the Ursa trade show, I was, every 20 minutes I was bumping into someone that I had a history with or knew or done some business with or what have you. Yeah. We were at the Idea Fitness show not too long ago, working with one of our vendors, and it was kind of the same thing. But I don't have those same connections in real estate, and I want to learn how to get those. Mm-hmm. So to your point, the conversation we had about when people wanted something specifically for a camp or a track and field event or something like that, usually I would get an email or I would get a call. Yeah. Hey, call Chas. Hey, right? Call Fitworks. Do that.
And this is like we are ahead of the game.
Sure.
We are doing something that no one else is doing. Let me rephrase. We are doing something that only a few people are doing. We're like the first. So I speak to managers every week that are like, "You guys do what? I didn't even know that exists." Right?
Right. Yeah.
And they may not be in the LA market. Sure. Folks in the LA market are up to par with the latest and greatest. But you'd think property management professionals would know like this is a thing by now.
I wonder. I don't think it's so.
And I feel like it's just coming. Like I don't know if it's a year, 2, 3 years down the road, but every major market and every A++ property is going to be doing this, and then it's going to be like the phone's going off.
So what I want,
your phone's going off the hook.
So what I want to figure out is where do we go to where do we go to get them the T-box with those folks and that,
yeah,
right?
We're going to be the reverse trade show that's coming up. All of the Biz Now stuff. And right now it's like just going and like elevator pitch, hustling.
Right. Because that's what I feel like. I think that
like that's it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not at the point where we need a lifestyle service provider. Mm-hmm. Here's a list of 50 of them. Right? And Cooper's at the top. They've been doing this longer than most people. Right.
It's like the hotel concierge when a guest comes up and says, what's a great restaurant? Or a guest comes up and says, I want to play around the golf. Where do I go? Yeah. And that concierge opens up the book.
Yes.
And you know exactly where they're going to send you.
Yeah.
Especially here in Orange County. You know what? You should try Pelican Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's 10 other courses that are way less expensive than Pelican Hill, but Pelican Hill is where you can see the ocean.
Yep.
But before Pelican Hill was built, and I lived here in Orange County before it was built, people were going to the private clubs only. They weren't going to a Pelican Hill, which is open to the public, which is the hotel was built there. But I remember when that was going on and people were saying, who's going to pay that much money to play around the golf when they've been playing other places? And I think in our case, who wants to invest in our service when, one, they still need to learn what our service is,
yes,
and two, how it benefits them.
Yes.
you know, the ownership and the management, how that benefits them, not necessarily the residents,
Right.
right? But the ownership and management, and then from there, obviously, it's going to benefit the residents because ownership is saying, hey, we're gifting this service to you. But in the short term, when we're in these meetings, it's like, okay, so we understand what your capital expenditure budget looks like. Here's what we feel we can be a value add for you. And then they have to get on board with that.
Yeah, or if it's a new development, like let us design and build out this beautiful fitness center and social fitness space. We'll activate it, and you can charge top of the market rents because of this. It's going to leash you up faster because no one in your comp around is doing it.
Right.
Slap on an amenity fee as well. Like you can charge a little bit more than everyone else. You're offering way more than everyone else.
And your NOI and ROI is going to be huge. I guess the question for a lot of these people we meet with is, you know, we need more data.
Yes.
To get them.
We need data. That's a really good point.
I think we do.
And actual analytics.
Yeah.
And that's
because that's kind of where we are. I think if we run across some of these bigger firms, it's their number thing. They you know.
We've got data to crunch. We just need to crunch it. And our last deal down in Southern California that we're no longer doing business with, you were sitting in the meeting, and that was, I asked the owner, I said, you know, let's, you know, after a year's time, I really want to partner with you on this so we can like crunch the numbers and look exactly how we've enhanced your brand and how we've influenced rents and your ROI, right? But
we got a 6 month. We got about a 6 month sample size.
Yeah.
Because before they did.
But they need to open their books up and they need to send that to us, right? And such is life, like you said, like you win some and you lose some. You're hired and you're fired.
What we can do from that, I think, from what we've done there from our side is what we do have. We can, you know, extrapolate and put that together and give other potential clients a snapshot of what we feel like we were able to do. Because remember, before that space was built and they built out, people were going to the different individual gyms in the buildings, and it was never that busy, except for one of their gyms. I mean, maybe it was like 5 to 10 people. When I was doing the social fitness sessions for them in their one building, we were probably getting, you know, 8 to 9, maybe 11 residents, but it was hit or miss. In the shared focused space for fitness, we were getting anywhere from 15 to 20 on occasion.
Some classes over 20.
Some classes over 20. So there's something there that I know they saw.
Yeah.
And it's something we can share with other potential clients of ours. This can work. You can get residents excited about coming to social fitness, and on top of that,
it does work.
It does work for you. Yeah.
Last question. What's a common myth about your profession or field that you want to debunk?
Good question. 2 things.
Man, you got the answers.
Don't have all the answers, but I have some. 2 things. First thing is that, you know, I think that there are people out there that believe that fitness is not for them. Whether it's in, you know, a multifamily space, whether it's in a fitness facility, whether it's, you know, walking in the park, there are people out there that feel that they can't do fitness. But the truth of the matter is, I say this to my clients all the time, you can't suck at this.
No.
You have to figure out what works for you. Whatever that is. Find your fitness where you are, start there. I think if I wanted to debunk anything, it's that when people say there is no way I can get to whatever it is I think I can get to, they're wrong. Because you have to start somewhere. Over my 30-year experience in this business as a fitness trainer, I'm speaking on the fitness side of things. I've worked with people that were, you know, severely disabled, had messed their backs up and were told they couldn't do anything, or they had to stop doing what they wanted to do or what they loved. Different reasons, you know, different situations come at people differently. So I think if I wanted to debunk anything, is find your fitness where you are and start there. Yeah. The key is to start it, and then from there, as you progress, right, you get better. Also, they gotta be patient.
Yes.
I use the professional athlete analogy all the time. When we were working with our professional athletes that I've trained over the years, their training cycle prior to the season was 18 weeks to get ready to compete in their sport. This was pre-spring training. This was OTAs, all of that. That's what it takes. So people have to be patient with themselves and then build from there.
That is a huge piece of advice. And like everything in life.
Yeah. But especially when it comes to movement or performance, because if you're going to perform for something, you got to realize the progression it takes. If you're right now, I'm watching, been watching off on the Little League World Series. What I love about the Little League World Series, in its purest form,
it
is just about playing baseball. And if it's just about playing baseball, what are those kids learning? The fundamentals. They learn how to catch, they learn how to throw, they learn how to hit, and they learn about teamwork, the fundamentals. And the kids that succeed, it's not that these other kids are not good players, but the kids that succeed in the right moment at the right time, they're the ones that eventually become the champions, is because they did all 4 phases just a little more consistently than their opponent. That's it. So when it comes to fitness, and I think it's much like our, this social fitness events that we do on property, the social events that we do on properties, the
lifestyle
experiences that we offer, it's kind of the same thing. We keep doing the fundamentals. I think that
keep grinding, stay patient, keep getting better, and growing.
Because someone came to us someone came to me in a meeting one day and they were like, "So what exactly do you guys do?" And I said, "We kind of do a little bit of everything, but what we do specifically is partner with the ownership, partner with management, engage your residents at a level that you guys may not have been able to engage them at, and give them something that gets them excited about where they live and what they're doing. We're not a maid service, we don't do that kind of stuff, but we're like the feel good service in the amenity space. We're the feel good service. We give them experiences, man. This is what it's about. That's why it's called life. Every day that someone's doing something in their life, what are those experiences like? Were they positive or were they negative? We try to make sure, we don't try to, we do. We give positive life experiences on site, right? That allows them to go, man, I love this place. This is great. It's so great that management or ownership decided to do this for us. I like living here. Right?
So much so that they'll call their relative or neighbor or not neighbor, but friend, and have them try to live that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you, brother.
Thank you. That was good.
It was good. You got all the answers.
I get all the answers?
Yeah.
What do I win?
Episode 1. Thanks for tuning in. And
thanks, guys.
check out episode 2 when it comes out. Thank you.